23rd, 24th, 25th of December. Heavy rains, powerful winds, high winds, a great impact, severe damage to livelihood systems, to the infrastructure of the country, to the natural resource base. I spoke to the minister, I think, on the 26th morning, and as is normal, FAO waits for a week or two to allow the humanitarian response to a crisis to be addressed before an assessment of the agricultural and rural sector damages are done. We sent in a team the second week of January to do that assessment, and the damages and losses were estimated to be about 32 million EC dollars. On the basis of that assessment, a response for assistance was developed, and we gave ourselves a goal of trying to make sure that we could get that processed and delivered within the period of a month. I think we are able to say this morning that we are making that target. Before I speak to you a little bit about the FAO response that will be implemented over the next, we say 12 months, but I hope within 6 to 9 months we can implement the majority of the response. It is a part of the response, the global response and the regional response and the national response. It is intended to supplement and complement the other efforts that are taking place and have taken place already on the ground. And I want to start by recognizing the national efforts to the response, which were comprehensive and, I have to say, enabled the response of others. Without a national response by the government in general, by the Ministry of Agriculture, that provided information and provided an understanding of what was happening, what the impacts were, what the needs were, the response from the international and the regional community really could not take place in a shorter time, I think, as it is happening. So I want to really recognize the national level response first and foremost. The capacity of St. Lucia's government, the capacity of its private sector, the capacity of its communities to respond to what was their challenge and their responsibility. And we are collaborating partners in continuing and extending the response. The FAO project for $310,000, which we are going to sign in a few moments, is intended to do essentially two things. One is to restore livelihoods that have been damaged, livelihoods that have been affected. This is the first dimension of it. To provide inputs, planting material and fertilizers, mineral oil for the black Sikatoka on the banana farms, baby chicks, fingerlings, tools for small farmers, particularly to rehabilitate their enterprises, to restore their livelihoods. But very importantly, to do that as an emergency response, but more importantly, as a sustainable development activity. In other words, we want to rehabilitate in a development context and a development approach so that the rehabilitation leads to and contributes to what we call dynamic development and growth, so that these particular individuals, these families, these farms use this rehabilitation exercise to continue the development of their enterprises. That's one aspect, the restoration of livelihoods. Very importantly, we also want to ensure that we contribute to building resilience. There will be other events, and hopefully the impact will be less because of the work that we do under this project in collaboration with many other projects that will be implemented as a part of the response. And this aspect talks about restoring infrastructure and institutional strengthening for future events, essentially building grass barriers, planting trees in the forest, protecting the soil, desilting the drains, stabilizing the riverbanks, strengthening the hillsides. That is the kind of resilience building that is necessary to minimize impacts down the road. We would like to target the areas and the farmers and the households and the families that were most affected, some that are most vulnerable, and very importantly, some that are most viable. It's very important in all of our strategies to ensure that we target very carefully to make sure that we have results, that we make an impact on the ground. So monitoring and evaluation will be very critical as we go forward. How are we doing 2 months or 3 months down the road, having provided inputs, having provided seeds, having restored and cleared or desilted some farms and some rivers, etc. We must monitor, we must evaluate, we must learn from the work that we're doing constantly. And this also is a part of the strategy of implementation. FAO cannot do anything alone. We have to work in partnership. We work in partnership with the government. We work in partnership with the private sector. We work in partnership with other institutions. And very importantly, in this particular exercise, we're going to be collaborating with the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation and Agriculture. And I see their representatives here this morning. We have been collaborating very effectively, I would say, with ICA for some time. We have been deepening and widening this collaboration within the recent period. And ICA we will establish a letter of agreement with ICA, particularly on the natural resource dimension, or what we call the restoration, the building of resilience aspect of this particular project. With that, with those words, I want to say that it is another opportunity for FAO to contribute, and we are in the business of building hope. We're in the business of collaborating on opportunities, and I'm here today to advance this on behalf of the FAO and specifically on behalf of our Director General, Jose Graziano da Silva, who I also spoke with on the morning of December 26th, informing him that this had taken place in 2 countries in our region, 3 countries when we speak of Dominica as well, and that we needed to mount a response. And I have to say to you that the support and the commitment of the larger FAO team to bring us to this point in this, I say, relatively short period has been considerable. And I thank you for giving FAO the opportunity to collaborate in this regard.
It is with a sense of humility and also with deep pleasure that I accept on behalf of the government and people of St. Lucia the assistance by the Food and Agriculture Organization for our response to the impact of the trough on our farming sector and also our rural subsector to the tune of $310,000 or close to 830,000 EC dollars. I wish to first of all thank God that most of us were spared, and wish to continue to express sympathy to the families of those who lost their lives. Also to express solidarity with the number of farmers and some fishers who lost everything and who are still struggling to get back into business. I wish to say that the staff of the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Production, Fisheries, Cooperatives and Rural Development did their very best immediately after the event on the 25th of December to put together rapid appraisals and rapid assessments And I wish to continue to thank the staff for their quick response and for their consideration. I wish also in a very special way to thank the staff of ICA, CARDI, and other agencies who came together very quickly within a very short space of time. By the 9th of January, the FAO had responded together with ICA and others to put a team together to continue the appraisals and the assessments. So on behalf of the government, I wish to thank everyone who worked very hard to ensure that the correct actions were taken to bring us to today. I also wish to say that I concur wholeheartedly with the comments of Dr. Ford when he indicated that the local response is very important and a very important precursor to whatever is to come from the regional or international community. I wish to thank the government for providing the ministry and also the farmers and fishers with support, emergency support, to the tune of $454,889. I wish to say that the direct and immediate emergency response has started, and there is work that is being done currently in the field with drainage and in other areas, the desilting of ponds in the area of aquaculture. And we are hoping that the help that is being given to us now by the Food and Agriculture Organization will only strengthen what we have started. I wish to say that the government, the ministry, will ensure that the whole issue of resilience, the issue of mitigation, and the issue of longevity and sustainability, those issues are taken on board as we go ahead to do what we normally call rehabilitation. We want to ensure that the issues of climate change are taken on board, that in areas where farmers are being assisted, that we also ensure that there is education about climate change, and that we begin to take actions to cause farmers to change the way they do things, so that another event like this would not have the devastating impact that it had on December 24th, 2013. I'm very pleased that this program will last close to a year, and hopefully we will create, with the help of FAO, synergies among this program and other programs of the FAO, as Dr. Ford indicated to us a little earlier, that this is not a standalone program. It will not stand just by itself, but we will see how best we can cause the farmers who will be getting the assistance to not only just replant or go back into production, but to see how best they can improve on their business plans, and to ensure that the other work of FAO with regard to school feeding and also family farming and business plans that FAO is working on currently, that we tie in all of this to the rehabilitation activities that will be on the ground. So it is for me to say thank you very much, and to the Food and Agriculture Organization and the other implementing agency. Thanks very much to ICA. ICA has been on board with us from the day of this unfortunate event, and they have been working with us to ensure that we get the nuts and bolts, we do what is necessary to get activities on the ground. I want in a very special way to say how pleased we are with the speed at which ICA, CARDI, and FAO in particular, the speed at which they responded to St. Lucia and the other islands in the sub-region. We are very heartened by this, and I have conveyed to the Prime Minister the speed at which FAO, ICA, and others are working on this project, and we know that our farmers will be very thankful for the support. Some of them, as I've said before, lost everything, and we are working very hard to ensure that they get back into business as soon as possible. So thank you very much on behalf of the farmers, the fishers, the workers, the staff of the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Production, Fisheries, Cooperatives and Rural Development. Thank you very much, and we look forward to the implementation of this project and to the results. And hopefully the results would mean better production, not only better production, but better business models and better farmers, better business people who will help to continue to rejuvenate our economy. So thank you very much.